Hey everybody, how's it going?
Good
How we doing
morning.
today? Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for
Hi,
being here. I'm Nick. Got Leslie here with us. Leslie,
everyone.
you have to leave a few minutes early.
I do. I have to leave a few minutes early, so you're probably going to see me jet, but I know you're going to be in good hands with Nick, everyone.
Okay, hopefully. All right,
Hopefully.
so today we're talking about one of my favorite topics, which is all about online lead generation, but more specifically, Zillow type leads versus Facebook type leads. What's the difference? How long does it take to convert? What the follow-up process is like. So let's just get right into it. So online lead generation, it encompasses strategies from social media marketing to search engine optimization, to the Zillows, to the realtor.coms. It's definitely become an important tool for real estate agents to understand. It not only offers a broader reach to potential clients, but also provides a cost-effective, in some cases, targeted approach to connect with the right audience. So understanding and harnessing the power of online lead generation is definitely going to give you an advantage, and it ensures that you remain competitive, relevant, and successful in an increasingly digital market. So let's just jump right into it. Why are motivated buyers and sellers looking online at homes for sale? Well, there's a few reasons. One of the reasons is the accessibility and the convenience of the internet. It's always open. Buyers and sellers can browse listings, research market trends, contact agents whenever they feel that it's the right time. It might be late at night. It might be early in the morning, but that's just the nature of the business. Another reason why they love to look online is because it gives them insights, on
Alexa,
demand.
pause.
Oh,
No,
we
I'm
want to
gonna
mute.
mute people.
Yeah, let's mute
Hold on.
everybody.
Okay, just unmute yourself.
Okay. All right. So another reason why they're looking online is because it gives them neighborhood insights on demand, basically. Just beyond just the property, they can research schools, amenities, crime rates. We can't obviously give them crime information, so they can search that on their own, and other neighborhood factors that are important to their decision-making process. Also, there comes a trust factor. First of all, they trust the internet more than they trust us,
Yeah,
right?
it's true.
They can also look at online reviews, testimonials. That plays a significant role in influencing who they want to work with. They also seek out agents with positive reviews and successful track records. That's why it is important to keep those things online, to keep them up to date. And the online platforms allow users to choose when and how they want to engage. So it gives them a controlled engagement, which allows them to stay anonymous as long as they want. It allows them to have the upper hand in the communication process at the beginning. So accessibility and convenience, neighborhood insights, trust factor, controlled engagement. Those are a lot of the reasons why buyers and sellers are turning to the internet to begin their process of looking for a home or selling a home.
Yes, so true. And I'm going to discuss, everyone, the importance of online lead generation in today's real estate market. I know we all have a smartphone, and we have to remember, so does our consumer. It's a digital age that we live in. So if you're not online, this is something that I'm going to repeat over and over again: be online, because that's like your walking billboard. So your digital age consumer, they turn directly to the internet. They start home searching right away. And even if they give you a timeline, let's say I'm ready in 9 months, we always suggest to cut that time in half, because they're already in the mindset of searching and they're already looking for homes without you. So just be aware of that. And over 90% of home buyers use the internet during their search. So when they're already searching before they sign that contract, you better be sure that you're engaging with them and creating that trust right away. So we want to talk about effective marketing and really cost-effective marketing. we all know that we have that exclusivity with Facebook as Keller Williams agents. And if you don't know, you should know, because that is something that really sets you apart from our competitors out there, number one. And of course, like, because our consumer is so digital, you are too. And think about how often you are online. So we know, I think, Nick, this was like a couple years ago. I think it was right before COVID. Facebook had given us a stat. I think it was like around 148 million people were online on Facebook every single day in the nation. 148 million every day. And
It's
so,
half
like,
the population of the country.
yeah. And so, like, when we hit the pandemic, we know that you and I were Zooming a lot. A lot of our agents were Zooming a lot. We can only imagine what the consumer was doing. They were working from home a lot. So I'm sure that number went up even more. So just pay attention to your consistency of being on digital platforms so that you can measure your ROI, because online campaigns really provide those detailed analytics that provide us even more insight of who's actually looking, who is our demographic, who is our avatar, right? And then being consistent with branding to speak to that audience every day, consistently on time. That is your walking billboard these days. I mean, some people still buy billboards, right, Nick?
Yeah.
To like market themselves. And yet we're on our phones more often. We're on our computers. I mean, does anybody here on their Apple phone, like, get that report of how many platforms you were on every Sunday at 10
It
a.m.
just tells you like
Central?
how long you've been looking at
Yes.
your phone.
Yes. So we can't stress enough on the importance of online lead generation, because your consumers doing that too. They're on their phone and on the internet all the time. So
Too
digital
much.
age consumers, cost-effective marketing leads you to a measurable ROI, and really building brand presence over time is key.
Yeah, for sure. I want to like definitely dig in a little bit about the building brand presence, because this is a branding and marketing platform that we're talking about. So, it's important to make sure that your brand image, your brand voice, your brand messaging is the same across all the different channels, that your images look the same, that your designs look similar with the same colors and all that stuff. So that becomes familiar over time. Let's talk about the differences between social media leads and Zillow type lead sources. They're very different. So social media leads, which are generated through like platforms like Facebook and Instagram, they come from the agent's own efforts in content creation, engagement, networking. The leads are often they can be often more organic if it's an unpaid ad, right? So they come from people who have engaged with the agent's content or their profile without any direct advertising, or you can create your own ads using Facebook Ads Manager or using Command to create all sorts of different types of ad campaigns. And the great thing about it is, like, those are going to be branded to you as opposed to Zillow, where they're branded more to Zillow. And you get to decide what the content is, what the image looks like, where the ad leads them to. You're also able to decide how many leads you want, how much you want to spend. Whereas with paid lead sources, you don't get any of those options. So Zillow provides leads that are specifically looking for real estate services. They can be, we'll talk about this later, but they can be more further along in the buying or selling process. They're typically individuals who have expressed interest in buying or selling a property before, and they have like voluntarily entered their information into the platform to be contacted by an agent, which is a little different than social media, which is typically forced registration. Okay, I'll continue. Sorry, this is my line. The cost, right, are vastly different. So social media, while creating and maintaining a social media profile is basically free. Like I said before, you can invest in paid advertising, like Instagram ads, Facebook ads, to reach a more specifically targeted and broader audience. And the cost can vary based on like how long you're running the ad for, what your target audience is like, all of these things kind of play into each other. What's the average cost per lead in Command right now? Like $3, give or
I think
take?
it's under 3. It's like around 2,
Okay.
250.
And so the cost can, like I said, vary based on advertising budget, campaign duration, what you're advertising. If you're targeting sellers, you're probably going to have a higher cost per lead as opposed to if you're targeting buyers. So it all just kind of depends. But with Zillow type leads, you guys know how this works. You pay a fee to these platforms in a specific zip code, and it can be very, very expensive, like
Yes.
significant, especially in very desirable zip codes. And a lot of Zillow is now upping their prices. They've been upping their prices. And they're not really selling to anybody anymore. They're focusing on high producing teams that have great follow-up processes. But if you're looking to get a lot of leads for a small amount of money, Facebook or Instagram is definitely the way to go.
Yes.
And especially for building your brand in specific areas, it's more customizable.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about lead quality. I know you kind of touched on it, Nick. The quality of leads can vary, and we all know that. So some might be ready to begin their real estate journey. Some might have already been thinking about it. Typically, when we look at Facebook leads, they tend to be long-term nurtures. Paid lead sources, they typically are more qualified because they have already been pre-approved. Perhaps they're seeking the real estate needs or further along that time frame of when they're actually going to hire you as an agent. They had already been looking for a while, right? So it's really a matter of relationship building. And of course, I'm sure you hear this all the time. Yes, I know, build relationships. But a lot of the digital platforms really help kind of give your consumer an idea of who you are, make it more personal. As long as you find some direct engagement and you really show the human side of who you are, not just really about your real estate business, people will hire you because I already feel like they trust you and know you. See,
Yeah.
I believe, Nick, that digital marketing these days on social is your billboard. It
Mm-hmm.
is a way to portray yourself as who you really are. So if you're not really on social, people have no idea who you are because
Right.
that's what we're doing every single day. That's what they're doing every single day.
Yeah.
So it's all about just building that reputation online, capturing more testimonials so that you can engage with a real-time audience, fostering that trust. Like somebody that I know was like doing their niche marketing up here in Evergreen, Colorado. She was like, I posted myself about cold plunging and it went viral. Like people were going crazy over it because it's such a easier way to connect, right?
Yeah.
It brings more human kind of content in the social media platform. So don't underestimate just your day-to-day activities.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
yeah,
agree with that because that kind of goes into what we were talking about with creating a Facebook group. It
yeah,
probably went viral because cold plunging is so popular, such a
right.
popular topic right now that people could relate to that. Patrick had a question in the chat. What about Google Leads? So for
Oh, good
time,
question.
well, for time
Yeah,
constraints, I didn't get into Google. I just wanted to choose two. But basically with Google
yeah,
Leads, yes, that's another good way to brand yourself because you can choose what the ad says and you can choose where people are led to when they click. However, Google Leads can be a little bit more complicated if you're doing it on your own. You really have to know specific search terms. You really have the keywords that people are typing into Google. There's a lot of research that has to go on behind that. So I don't tend to create my own Google PPC just because they're a little bit more time consuming because you do have to know what people are searching for in specific areas because
yeah.
what they're searching for here in Michigan is not going to be what they're searching for in Colorado. So I leave that to somebody who really
Mm-hmm.
gets that. I just
Mm-hmm.
find it a little bit more hit and miss. It is a very it can be a higher upfront investment,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
leads can be $50 to $100.
Right.
So you're going to have to invest thousands of dollars up front in order to really get something.
Mm-hmm.
But Google
Yeah.
leads are good. They're middle
Yep.
of the road. They're in between Facebook and Google and Zillow in terms of motivation level.
Yep.
All right. So where are we
Let's
here?
continue. So yeah, you're next. So let's talk a little bit about conversion.
Yeah.
The
So
lead.
conversion of the leads, Zillow versus social media. Social media leads often come from content engagement, a campaign, right? They're usually top of the sales funnel, which means think of it as like an upside down triangle. At the top, you're going to get a lot of leads, and at the bottom is going to be like the small percentage that convert. They're at the top, sometimes the middle, because they're not actively searching for a home for sale on Facebook. They're not going to Facebook to be like, hey, let me go see what homes pop up in my feed that I can look at. They're targeted because Facebook feels that they meet the criteria that you have entered, and that's why they're seeing your ad. And with Facebook leads, many times they're forced registration. They're not voluntarily putting their information in. Facebook is prompting them to approve their information through lead ads. So they might not actively be looking to buy or sell at that moment, but they could be interested in the real estate market because Facebook knows they've looked on websites in the past and interacted with other real estate related content. So they're a little longer in terms of converting, but we'll get into that in a minute. Zillow leads are much further down the sales funnel. They're probably at the very end. They have usually been looking on those platforms for 60 to 90 days. They many times have spoken to a lender. They many times have gone to open houses. Unfortunately, some of them may have an agent. They don't understand how this works. But like I said, they're typically further down the sales funnel. They have taken a proactive step to seek out an agent, which indicates a more immediate interest in buying or selling. So the two of those different types of leads really call for two different approaches in terms of follow-up. We'll get into follow-up in a minute, but let's just jump into the conversion time frame, like how long it takes to convert social versus Zillow.
Yes. Okay. So social media leads take longer to convert and they're not immediately ready to interact. So just remember, like I know, Nick, you and I talked to a lot of agents and there's been like this conversation around, well, how long the process can be, and perhaps this limiting belief that Facebook leads are now ready and they're not. And so if you knew that, don't give up on the long-term follow-up, because you could be building your opportunities and your opportunity pipeline like right now. So if you have Facebook leads living in your command, what I would suggest is to go back and reinvigorate them with a couple of smart plans. Just a little tidbit there. But let's talk a little bit about Zillow type leads. Their time frame is going to be shorter because, like we had mentioned earlier, they're already set in their head that they need to buy or sell. And so they're more serious about actively seeking services. So the competition can be higher. And so that really goes back to like how you're pitching yourself, what your value proposition is, and really being able to create a relationship, build rapport, and be authentic about it.
Yeah. So Phil has a good point. Facebook leads can be instant or take a long time. That is true. Paid Facebook leads typically take longer, as opposed to finding someone in a Facebook community group who is looking for a realtor, right? Like, and also with Facebook paid leads, there are certain target demographics that you can use that will get you in front of possibly more motivated people through Facebook using specific target interests. So that's something to keep in mind too. But on average, a social media lead could take anywhere between 9 and 18 months to convert, whereas a Zillow lead, there's only one button, show me this house, right?
Mhm.
So that's why they
Yeah.
typically are much faster. Let's talk about the follow-up approach. So this is super important, follow-up approach for social media leads. The initial contact. So basically engage with them based on their interaction, whether they have commented on one of your paid ads or your posts, if they've texted you, if they've emailed you, if they've called you, communicate with them based on how they're communicating with you.
Mhm.
Because if they're texting you, they're not ready to talk to you on the phone. So just be mindful of that. And if you're going to call them, ask them if you can call them, right? So it's always important with social media posts to go for an education approach. Just many of them don't understand how the home buying process works, right? So like ask them, specific questions. Is Denver, Colorado an area that you're interested in? Yes, it is. Great. Is the house that you clicked on the type of house that you're interested in Denver, Colorado? Well, no, it's not. Okay. Well, what made you click on that property? Well, I like the open floor plan. Okay, so you don't like the ranch style that you clicked on, but you like the open floor plan of the ranch style. So it's all about like fact finding and then educating them about what the home buying or home selling process is like. It can oftentimes take 10 to 15 attempts to actually get them to respond to you. So don't feel defeated if they're not responding to you after the very first text message. They're not really expecting you to instantly contact them. But I have learned over time that if they don't tell you to stop, it means keep going. And more times than not, they will appreciate the follow-up because they see the dedication to customer service. And when they do respond, they usually say, I'm so sorry it took me so long. They'll apologize to you. I have had that so many times I can't even tell you. But make sure that you don't go for a hard close. You don't say you clicked on this property. When do you want to see it? You clicked on such and such in Denver, Colorado. Is that the type of area, is that type of location and home that you would be interested in learning more about? Right? That's more of the approach. Nurturing, regular market updates, neighborhood nurtures, other valuable content that you might be able to send them. Every so often send them some sort of market stat. Maybe you have an ebook on buying a home. Maybe there's a video you want to send them, but it's all about like giving them as much information as possible. And if you have Command or some other CRM, you know what they're looking at on your website. So you kind of have a little insight into their interests. If Leslie's got to go, bye.
Bye, everyone. See you soon.
You have insight to their interests. So you know if they're looking at, I've always noticed that if they're looking at lots of different properties in a very specific area at a specific price point, there's a very good chance that they know that that's where they want to live and that's what they can afford. If you notice that they're kind of all over the map, looking in many different towns at many different price points, there's a chance that they might not have any idea, right? So the more consistent they are in their searches, the more you can assume and be more positive that this is what they're looking for. So be on the lookout for those types of clues. Also with social media leads, unlike Zillow, yes, it's good to be quick, but like it's not like you have to respond to them in 30 seconds, right? But with Zillow, because of how Zillow is designed and what their business model is like, there's a chance that those leads have been sent to 10 different agents. So responding super quickly within 30 seconds is, what you have to be doing. So if you don't have those systems in place, luckily, if you're using Command, we do have those smart plans and it does send out text messages or emails extremely quickly. So basically respond quickly, address their specific inquiry. You can be very direct as opposed to social media leads, be a little bit more passive, and just say, hey, do you want to see this property? Because most likely that's what they want. In terms of nurturing, provide immediate value. Ask if they want a home, ask if they own a home and they need a home valuation. Ask if they want to receive property listings immediately. Ask them, when and where would be the best time for you guys to meet and look at these properties. Whereas social media, you're going to be a little bit more passive and you're not going to go for the close or the appointment right off the bat. The urgency with Zillow leads are very, very, very urgent, right? Like you need to be on top of that. So given their active interest, schedule a property viewing or a consultation immediately with that first phone call. Building trust with these two different types of leads are different as well. So social media, you basically have to build that trust over time through that constant follow-up, content sharing with them. Like I said, any information that might help them within their search, sending them very specific properties that are, more in tune with what they're looking for, but being, again, going on their terms in the sense of slowing it down. Don't be too urgent, be a little bit more passive, educate them, take them through the different steps, provide value, provide updates, provide any information they might need to know about the specific location. And over time, that helps build trust. With Zillow, it's very different. Trust is established, like that's why it's so important for you to follow up so quickly, because the quicker you respond, the more trust you're going to build instantly. Because a lot of people on Zillow, they've requested property showings and they don't get any calls back, right? So being an expert in that specific area, demonstrating your expertise, showing your responsiveness, et cetera, et cetera. So with social media, it's about building trust over time. With Zillow, that trust is established the quicker you respond. Like that's how they're programmed. So anyway, those are just some tips that I wanted to give you guys in terms of these two different types of leads. Jim in the chat says Facebook ads through command do work. Just recently closed a listing that you got through there. Just have to be patient like the other leads. Exactly. So there's a lot of differences between the two types of leads, in terms of response rate, in terms of conversion rate, in terms of the motivation level. And then Google is kind of like in between, right? They're motivated because they sit down to a computer and they are searching for you, homes for sale in, realtors that work in, right? So they're seeking you out, but they're not specifically requesting to see a property. Does anybody want to chime in? I don't want to, we have a couple minutes. If you want to chime in and give some insight, please do. Phil, what's up?
Hey, good morning or afternoon, wherever you are. I got to tell you, the new campaign format, for those of us that have campaign, has gone off the charts for responses and stuff like that. Like
nice.
I'm running the one photo that goes on all media, Google and everything. And as you can preview them in command, I'm like, oh, and I'm changing my words and I'm cutting them down a little bit. And I went, oh, so even the sort of more abbreviated Google campaigns, it's like open house alert this Sunday, 2 to 4 p.m. and the address, and it's all the information you need. But the count of the people interacting and clicking on my leads, and that's where I live. I leave driving people to my open houses, and I get most of my business that way. But I'm also finding, because Google was, as you are absolutely right, Nick, the complication to get in there and let me learn a new algorithm. No. But doing it strictly through campaigns now, and like everyone has said, all those Facebook things, if you're using campaigns, then your lead, your contact goes right in a command and can automatically set up the drip campaign or the 36, 32 touch, whatever it is. But I like I said, I live in that world, and the more specific ads I run, you know, are you looking for, did you know that there's still a ton of 2-bedroom apartments in this area that allow rentals? If you're looking to buy a property like that to invest in, please let me know. You know, the market is hot, and homes that have a suite or have the potential for a suite are super hot right now. If you'd like to know how much I could get, and those campaigns, not the, I'm a real estate agent and I would like to make your money.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you know what I mean?
Not the right approach.
The more specific, and that's it. Like, so yeah, all my business, and I've hit new records for my earnings.
Love
and
it.
All of it's been based on the leads through command the past couple of years.
Nice. I love it. Yeah, the leads through command have been very, very good and affordable. And the cool thing is, like, with Facebook, you can, you know, you can dictate what your campaign looks like, who you want to get in front of, where they go, how much you want to spend. It's very, very customizable. And it usually has a positive ROI, because let's say you get 100 leads and it costs you $200. If you close one of those, I mean, that's an astronomical return on investment. All you need is like one extra Facebook closing a month. And in some cases that can add another, you know, $80,000, $90,000 in GCI, depending on, you know, my average commission here in Michigan's around $7,500. That would be about 90,000. So, you know, it's pretty incredible. Lori wants to know why the new ad format is better now. Do you want to just kind of touch on that? Either Jim, you do a lot of this. Do you want to touch on why it's better?
Did I say it was better?
No, she wants to know if it's better.
No. I'm just kidding. No, I think personally it's a lot better because there's actually less you have to do, which is always great.
Yeah.
But there's multiple different channels that you could do. You can do a single photo listing. You can do a carousel, which has been really awesome here. We have an agreement in our market center that we are able to market each other's Facebook or listings. So if you don't have a listing, you just go find people in your market center, make sure it's all right with them, or if anybody has an agreement, and then you can put up to 10 different listings on there. And I get a lot of hits from that. Then you said there's the multiple Google channels, and there's just so many different options than there was. And like Phil just commented, to me, the results have been a lot better and a lot better lead. Like I said, I just closed a listing lead last month from the new Facebook algorithms, and it's just, I seem to get better responses now than I did say a year ago. So 100%.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So where can they go and get some recent trainings on the new platform? Do you know where they could find that? Because I don't know. I haven't made a training on it.
You can actually I know in KW Connect, you can actually, there's some stuff through there. There's Zooms that you can sign up through there and whatnot. I've been on some of those Zooms and they've been really good. So no, they're out there. Just gotta search for them.
Cool. I know Marty Miller is
Marty. Yep.
You go to Marty Miller's YouTube. He's got 100%. Some updated stuff. I haven't been focusing on doing that since I've been back, but Marty has some good videos, so go check out his YouTube channel. Cool, guys. So I got to hop off, but tomorrow we're going to talk about generating leads through buyer and seller seminars and the best practices for doing that. So we shall see you then. Hope everyone has a great day. Bye.